Chapter 524. Following this, Lu Ming immersed his mind into the storage rings. Lu Ming did not pay attention to the other things. He first took out all the supreme spiritual crystals. Han Man, Mu San and Mu Lin had around 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals in total. In addition to the 60,000 supreme spiritual crystals that Lu Ming had, Lu Ming now had a total of 160,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 160,000 supreme spiritual crystals is enough for me to break through to the third layer Martial King realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He then waved his hand and 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals floated in the air. Bang! 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 The 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals all exploded. Lu Ming controlled the Nine Dragons bloodline to devour the spiritual qi in the crystals, and began to break through to the third layer Martial King realm. Soon, the 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals were all refined. Lu Ming took out another 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Another 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Very soon, Lu Ming had refined a total of 120,000 supreme grade spirit crystals. Break! The 120,000 supreme spiritual crystals had turned into true force, which was extremely powerful. The ferocious true qi continued to surge toward the third layer Martial Emperor Realm Cultivator. Boom! After a short while, Lu Ming's aura rose rapidly with a loud explosion. He had broken through to the third layer Martial King realm. After consuming 120,000 supreme spiritual crystals, Lu Ming's cultivation had finally broken through to the third layer Martial King realm, greatly increasing his strength. Continue. Lu Ming took out the last 40,000 supreme spiritual crystals and devoured them all to increase his cultivation. Soon, the last 40,000 supreme spiritual crystals had all been converted into Lu Ming's true force. Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the early stage of the third layer Martial King realm. He had not broken through to the mid-stage of the third layer Martial King realm. After reaching the third layer Martial King realm, the amount of supreme spiritual crystals needed to break through had increased again. I wonder how the early stage of the third layer Martial King realm will fare against a Martial King realm minor success? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The next moment he left the Temple of Paragon and flew up into the sky. Soon he had traveled tens of thousands of miles. Suddenly Lu Ming stopped in his tracks. Up ahead there were 6 figures flying at high speed. Suddenly Lu Ming, that's Lu Ming. Lu Ming is in front. Speed up, don't let him escape. Several loud roars rang out as 6 figures charged towards Lu Ming at lightning speed. These 6 people were none other than the 6 youths from the Shang family. Lu Ming stood motionless in the void. The space trembled as 6 sacred family youths flew over and surrounded Lu Ming. A surging aura gushed out from the young man from the Shang family without any concealment. 1 mid-4th level Martial King, 3 3rd-level Martial Kings, and 2 2nd-level Martial Kings. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the 6 youths of the Shang family, and was well aware of their cultivation level. Haha, this fellow actually isn't running. Could it be that he's scared silly? No matter what, this credit belongs to us. The youths from the Shang family laughed and looked at Lu Ming mockingly as if Lu Ming could be easily manipulated by them. Be careful later. This fellow is not simple. The lower-level Martial King frowned. With Brother Chong here, this fellow won't be able to do anything. Another young man laughed. Lu Ming's battle strength was strong, but there was still a gap between him and a lower-level Martial King. Thus they were not worried. Are you done talking nonsense? If you're done, you can die now. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his mouth. What? The 6 youths from the Shang family were slightly stunned. Boom! Lu Ming's cultivation erupted as a huge spear light swept out. The spear light swept out in all directions. Not good. The 6 youths' faces changed drastically. The lower-level Martial King in the lead unleashed a terrifying aura, as he slashed out with his lower-level One Earth concept. The other 5 youths also unleashed their full strength. This was because they felt danger from Lu Ming's spear. Boom! 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 After 6 consecutive booms, the 5 youths from the Shang family were pushed back like cannonballs. Even Shang Chong's body trembled as he took 9 steps back in the air before he could stop. How is this possible with your battle strength? Shang Chong's eyes were filled with disbelief. Lu Ming could push him back with 1 spear strike? How is this possible? He was a lower-level martial king. Lower-level martial king is just SOSO. Kill! Lu Ming shouted coldly as he took a step forward. With this step, Lu Ming's figure suddenly disappeared. He did not attack Shang Chong but the other 5 youths. Not good. Retreat, you guys, retreat. Shang Chong's face changed drastically as he roared and chased after Lu Ming at the same time. Whoosh! Whoosh! However, Lu Ming's speed was too fast. In an instant, he appeared in front of 2 third-level martial king youths. 2 extremely sharp spear lights pierced towards the 2 youths. Ah! Ah! The 2 youths screamed in horror as they tried to use all their strength to block the attack. However, now that Lu Ming had reached the 3rd-level martial king realm, how could they block him? The gap was too big. Puff! Puff! 2 spear lights pierced through the 2 youths' throats. Blood gushed out of the 2 youths and they died immediately. Devouring power burst out and devoured the blood essence of the 2 youths. At the same time, Lu Ming's true ether swept their storage rings into the Temple of Paragon. Then, his body flashed as he charged towards the remaining 3 youths. The 3 youths were terrified and ran for their lives. However, Lu Ming's 9-dragon sky-stomping steps was too fast for them to escape. After 3 consecutive screams, the remaining 3 youths from the Shang family were all killed by Lu Ming. Of course, Lu Ming would not let go of the storage rings and blood essence. Damn it, damn it. You actually dared to kill the hero of the Shang family. Lu Ming, no one can save you from heaven or earth. Shang Chong watched helplessly as the 5 Shang family youths were killed. He screamed hysterically. Now it's your turn. Lu Ming looked at Shang Chong. Haha, you still want to kill me? I admit that your combat strength is indeed powerful and has surpassed mine, but only by a little. If I want to leave, you can't stop me. Lu Ming, wait for the revenge of the Shang family. Shang Chong let out a sinister laugh. His body then flashed, intending to retreat. Die! Extreme Dao blow. Lu Ming's body swayed like a dragon. He and the spear became one and turned into a shocking blow. This blow pierced through the void and appeared in front of Shang Chong in an instant. Shang Chong's pupils contracted sharply. He felt a fatal threat from Lu Ming's blow. Block it, block it. Shang Chong roared in his heart. His 1st-level initial earth essence was activated to the extreme. The earth's spiritual power between heaven and earth gathered madly, forming stone tablets in front of him. In an instant, Shang Chong set up 99 stone tablets. The concept of earth was most adept at defense. But bang! 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 These stone tablets under Lu Ming's spear radiance were like paper. In an instant, 99 explosions sounded and 99 stone tablets were pierced through, leaving a hole in the front and back. Puff! Chapter 525. Shang Chong's eyes widened like a dead fish, filled with disbelief. He had never expected that the defense that he was most proud of would be so weak and vulnerable in the face of Lu Ming's attack. Whoosh! Suemo withdrew his spear and Shang Chong died. Since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed by me. Lu Ming murmured. After devouring Shang Chong's essence blood and taking the storage ring, Lu Ming left the place. After a while, Lu Ming appeared tens of thousands of miles away and entered the Temple of Paragon. He sat down cross-legged and started to refine the essence blood. During this period, Lu Ming had used all the essence blood he had devoured to improve the 9 dragons' bloodline. This was because given Lu Ming's current cultivation level, the blood essence of martial artists whose cultivation level was lower or similar to his would not be of much help to him in increasing his cultivation level. He might as well try his best to increase his bloodline level. The essence blood he had refined was also used to improve his bloodline. The 9 dragons' bloodline was suspended above Lu Ming's head. There was a sanguine glow on its meandering body. The 6 silver chakras were shining brightly. Half an hour later, the power of the blood essence had been completely refined. Unfortunately, the 9 dragons' bloodline was still at LV6 King Realm. Almost there. I feel like I'm almost there. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He felt that the 9 dragons' bloodline was so close to being upgraded. Let's see how many spiritual crystals I have. Then Lu Ming took out the storage rings of Shang Chong and the other young men from the Shang family and put all the supreme spiritual crystals together. 180,000 spiritual crystals. There were 180,000 supreme spiritual crystals in the storage rings of the 6 young men from the Shang family. Great. Continue to improve my cultivation. Then, Lu Ming started to refine the supreme spiritual crystals to improve his cultivation. After reaching LV3 Martial King Realm, he needed more energy to improve his cultivation. Lu Ming refined 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals to improve his cultivation from early LV3 Martial King Realm to middle LV3 Martial King Realm. He refined another 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals to late LV3 Martial King Realm. He only had 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals left. Sacred Clan continue. After that, Lu Ming left the Supreme Divine Palace and flew in the sky, planning to continue hunting the people of the Shang family. Since the Shang family was hunting him, he would hunt them back. 2 hours later, in a mountain forest, 5 Sacred Clan youths were killed by Lu Ming. One of them was a late-stage Martial King LV4 Martial King Realm warrior. This time, Lu Ming got 150,000 pieces of top-grade equipment. After finding a place, Lu Ming continued to refine the top-grade spirit crystals. Not long after Lu Ming left, a dozen figures appeared in the air above the forest. It was Shang Yu and the others. At this moment, Shang Yu's eyes were incomparably cold. The dense murderous intent had almost materialized. Damn it, could it be that Lu Ming, that little bastard, did it? Damn it. A cold voice came from Shang Yu's mouth. No matter who did it, they must die. Now call a group of people to act as bait and lure them out. You guys follow me and lie in ambush. Shang Yu immediately gave the order. Then the group of people scattered and disappeared into the sky. At this moment, Lu Ming was trying his best to refine the top-grade spirit crystals. Not long after, another 80,000 pieces of top-grade spirit crystals were refined. Lu Ming's cultivation broke through to the peak of LV3 Martial King Realm. Then, Lu Ming refined the remaining 70,000 pieces of top-grade spirit crystals and raised his cultivation to the peak of LV3 Martial King Realm. Next, he would be able to break through to LV4 Martial King Realm. Once he reached LV4 Martial King Realm, he would be a Lower King Realm warrior. However, if he wanted to break through to Lower King Realm, he had no idea how many top-grade spirit crystals he would need. Sacred Clan, you will be responsible for all the top-grade spirit crystals I need. Lu Ming sneered. Then he left the Supreme Divine Palace and flew in the sky to look for the Sacred Clan. Half an hour later. The Sacred Clan. Lu Ming looked ahead. In front of him, 5 youths of the Sacred Clan were flying in the sky. Lu Ming, that's Lu Ming. Surround him, don't let him escape. The 5 youths of the Sacred Clan surrounded Lu Ming. The leader of the group was Shang Jiang, Lu Ming's acquaintance. Lu Ming, let's see where you can run to now. Shang Jiang's face darkened. Run. Why should I run? Why should I run when you're giving me spiritual crystals? Lu Ming said with a faint smile. What do you mean? Shang Jiang's eyes turned cold and murderous. He shouted, were you the one who killed those 2 groups of people? Lu Ming smiled but did not say a word. It was a silent admission. Damn it, Lu Ming. You must have eaten a dragon's gallbladder to kill so many of the Sacred Clan's elites. Let me tell you, no one can save you. Even the palace master will kill you. Shang Jiang roared in shock and anger. Humph, the Sacred Clan wants to kill me. Can't I fight back and wait for you to kill me? What a joke. If I kill all of you, who will know it's me? Lu Ming harumphed as his eyes flickered with murderous intent. Lu Ming, who can you kill? At that moment, a furious roar could be heard in the sky. In the clouds high up in the sky, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and 12 figures appeared. The one leading them was Shang Yu. Beside him was a lesser king, a peak 4th-layer martial emperor. Behind them were Shang Kong, Shang Wei, and Shang Feng. They were scattered in all directions, blocking Lu Ming's escape routes. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly as he said, so you're trying to lure me out? It's too late now. I won't let you escape this time. Shang Yu's eyes were filled with murderous intent as a terrifying aura spread out from his body. 5th-layer Martial Emperor Realm. Lu Ming's expression turned serious. There was a small gap between the 3rd-layer Martial Emperor Realm and the 4th-layer Martial Emperor Realm. Although there was only a 1-layer difference in cultivation, there was at least a 2-layer difference in battle strength. The peak of the fifth-layer martial emperor realm was undoubtedly more powerful. Lu Ming was definitely no match for him. You guys set up a formation to prevent him from escaping. I'll kill him. You're courting death. Shang Yu had just given the order, but before he could finish he roared. This was because Lu Ming had suddenly attacked. Whoosh! Whoosh! A dozen spear lights pierced through the air and pierced toward the sacred clan's young men. With Lu Ming's cultivation at the peak of the third-layer martial emperor realm, his attacks were fierce. Those below the lesser martial emperor realm had no way to block them. Even if the sacred clan's young men were prepared to defend themselves, it was still not enough. Puff! Puff! Blood splattered everywhere as screams rang out. In an instant, 10 sacred clan's young men were pierced through by the spear lights and fell to the ground. Shang Feng and Shang Wei were among them. On the other hand, Shang Kong, who had been standing at the back due to his weak cultivation, had managed to escape. But now his face was pale and his body was trembling non-stop. Seeing 10 sacred clan's young men who were stronger than him being killed, Shang Kong was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He frantically retreated. Ah, damn it, die. Shang Yu let out a hysterical roar as a terrifying aura burst out from his body. A crystal-clear saber light slashed toward Lu Ming. Clang! Lu Ming blocked with his long spear, but his body was shaken by the saber light. Kill! Shang Yu's saber light gained the upper hand. The saber light behind him swept toward Lu Ming like a storm, completely drowning Lu Ming. Chapter 526. True Dragon Strike. Lu Ming lashed out with his spear, summoning a three-colored dragon, but it was instantly shattered by Shang Yu's saber glow. Shang Yu was a genius to begin with, and his strength of the fifth-layer martial emperor realm was 3 layers higher than the third-layer martial emperor realm. Lu Ming had no chance of winning against him. Kill! Shang Jiang and another expert at the peak of the 4th level of the martial king realm surrounded Lu Ming. Both of them were peak 4th-layer martial emperor realm geniuses. Their strength was extremely terrifying when they unleashed their full strength, posing a deadly threat to Lu Ming. With the 3 teaming up, Lu Ming was completely overwhelmed by the storm-like attacks. 9 Dragons Bloodline Devour. 2nd Bloodline Erupt. Lu Ming went all out, executing all his moves. Roar! The 9 Dragons Bloodline uttered a roar as its devouring force exploded, causing Shang Yu and the others to be startled, as they could feel the force of their blood becoming unstable. As a result, their strength was slightly weakened. Otherwise, Lu Ming would not be able to resist their attacks. What should I do? I can't let this go on. Lu Ming's mind was racing. At that moment, if Lu Ming were to execute his extreme attack, he would have the confidence to kill one of the 2 4th-layer martial emperor realm experts. However, the extreme attack would require him to unleash most of his strength, resulting in a brief moment of weakness. It might only last for a few breaths' time, but it would still be fatal. A person like Shang Yu would not let go of any chance to kill him. On the other hand, if Lu Ming were to execute his extreme attack, he would not have the confidence to kill Shang Yu. After all, the difference between their strength was too great. Die, Lu Ming, die! Shang Kong let out a roar with a satisfied expression. Even if he was a genius, he would still die after offending the sacred clan. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming tried his best to resist the attacks. His body shuddered violently as his qi and blood became restless. In a moment of carelessness, he was slashed on his back, causing blood to flow out. Dandan smash! Lu Ming suddenly slapped Dandan. Whoosh! The Dandan shone brightly and rapidly grew in size. It flew towards the sacred jade and smashed head-on. Shang Yu's complexion changed drastically. He waved his hand and a big net appeared out of thin air. It shone brightly and covered the sky as it moved towards Dandan. Obviously, Dandan didn't expect the other party to suddenly throw out such a large net. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. He was directly caught in the net. Dandan rushed here and there, but for a moment he couldn't get out. Lu Ming's expression changed. He didn't expect the other party to take out such a large net, and Dandan happened to be restrained by this kind of net. Dandan wasn't afraid of anything that was energy, but if it was something substantial, Dandan wouldn't be able to rush through it. Haha. Let's see what other tricks you have. Die! Shang Yu laughed wildly. In fact, he was extremely shocked in his heart. Lu Ming was actually able to withstand so many moves under the siege of the three of them. It was simply inconceivable. The one who was most shocked was Shang Jiang. Previously, when Lu Ming had just arrived in Tianxian City, he had attacked Lu Ming. At that time, although Lu Ming wasn't weak compared to him, there was still a big gap. But now, Lu Ming's combat strength had already surpassed him. How was this possible? How long had it been? This was too terrifying. Kill, I must kill this little bastard, this monster. Shang Jiang roared in his heart, and his attacks became more violent. Puff! Lu Ming's chest was hit by a palm, and blood spurted out. Want to kill me? Dream on! Lu Ming roared, and his eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Buzz! Lu Ming's long spear shook, and all of his strength rushed towards the long spear. His body twisted and his spine was like a dragon driving the long spear, turning into a spear light that pierced towards Shang Jiang. Extreme Dao Strike. Now he could only go all out. Whoosh! Extreme Dao Strike pierced through everything. Shang Jiang instantly felt cold all over, and his hair stood on end, as if the god of death was approaching him. Retreat, retreat, retreat! Shang Jiang roared and retreated desperately. He knew that if he didn't retreat he would die. But in the next moment, he found that retreating was useless because Lu Ming's spear light was too fast, and it caught up with him in an instant. No! Shang Jiang roared crazily, and his eyes were about to bleed. But in the next moment, Poochie, the peerlessly sharp spear light pierced through the space between his eyebrows. Shang Jiang was dead. But at this moment, Lu Ming, because of using the extreme Dao strike, had extracted a large amount of true yuan, and his body felt weak. Although Lu Ming could quickly recover a part of his true yuan, it was too late. Die, die, die! Shang Yu attacked Lu Ming as if she had gone mad. The terrifying blade light seemed to be able to split everything. Block it! Lu Ming's eyes widened. He gathered his remaining true yuan and combined it with the will of the heavens and earth to form layers of defense in front of him. At the same time, the devouring force of the 9 dragons' bloodline spread out in front of him. Bang! In the next moment, Lu Ming was still sent flying, and he spat out mouthfuls of blood. A deep wound appeared on his chest, so deep that his bones were visible. Lu Ming's heart had almost been split open. The terrifying blade light madly penetrated Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming frantically executed the true skill of the battle dragon to resist it with his true yuan. But in the end, Lu Ming spat out mouthfuls of blood continuously, and his face turned pale. He had suffered a serious injury from the previous attack. Lu Ming, I'm going to skin you alive and pull out your tendons. Shang Yu roared. The other young man with a cultivation of the peak 4th layer martial emperor realm turned pale, and fear flashed across his face. If the spear had been aimed at him, he would have been the one to die. At the thought of this, he felt a lingering fear. Haha, bastards of the Shang family, it's not that easy to kill me. Come on, I'll kill you next. Lu Ming laughed and pointed his long spear at the other young man with a cultivation of the peak 4th layer martial emperor realm. This made his face turn even paler, and his body involuntarily took 2 steps back. Not far away, there were 4 other young men of the Shang family. At this time, their faces were also pale, and they looked at Lu Ming in fear. Lu Ming's strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. This time, the Shang family was in a miserable state. When they entered the Scale Demon Plane, there were a total of 28 people, all of whom were geniuses and elites of the Shang family. They had spent countless resources to cultivate them, but now only 6 of them were left. It was too miserable. Even if they could kill Lu Ming, they would suffer a great loss. If the higher-ups of the Shang family knew about this, they would all be punished. No wonder Shang Yu was furious. Little bastard, you can't kill any of us. Sky-breaking saber art. Shang Yu roared, and his body emitted a terrifying saber light. At the same time, his body shriveled, as if all his essence, blood, and chi had been sucked away. As his body shriveled, the saber light on his body became even more terrifying, as if it could break the sky. His aura was twice as strong as before. Secret skill. What a powerful secret skill! Lu Ming could tell at a glance that Shang Yu was using a secret skill. Chapter 527. Retreat, retreat. Lu Ming frantically retreated. He felt a fatal crisis. At this moment, with his injured body, even if he used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, it would be impossible. He was afraid that if Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, the terrifying pressure between heaven and earth would crush his heart. That was because the wound was so deep that his heart was almost exposed. He could only retreat. Kill! Shang Yu roared. He and his saber seemed to have become one, turning into a terrifying saber light that pierced through the layers of the void, appearing in front of Lu Ming and chopping down on Lu Ming's head. Lu Ming blocked with his spear. Clang! The demon-suppressing spear started to vibrate rapidly. Lu Ming could feel a terrifying force hitting the demon-suppressing spear, causing it to vibrate rapidly. The terrifying force caused Lu Ming's arms to go numb. He actually couldn't hold on to the demon-suppressing spear. Whoosh! The demon-banishing spear was sent flying. Shang Yu's saber light continued to chop down on Lu Ming's head. Block! Lu Ming roared. His eyes were bloodshot as he erupted his strength to the extreme. His left hand contained the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline, and his right hand contained the power of the second bloodline. At the same time, the 3 intents merged into his hands. Bang! Lu Ming clasped his hands together and clamped Shang Yu's saber. Boom! The terrifying force made Lu Ming fall directly to the ground. Boom! Lu Ming stepped on the ground, and the earth let out a violent roar. The ground was like a ripple violently shaking. Within a radius of 5 miles, it was swept away by a storm of energy and flattened. Lu Ming's hand was still clamping down on Shang Yu's saber. Die! Shang Yu roared. The saber light surged, and the saber carried a terrifying force as it chopped down on Lu Ming. Sizzle! Lu Ming's hands clamped down on the saber, and there were sizzling sounds and sparks. Unfortunately, he couldn't clamp down on it, and the saber was still chopping down on Lu Ming's head. Am I going to die here? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. No, I cannot die. Lu Ming roared in his heart. At this moment, rays of light suddenly shone from between Lu Ming's eyebrows, and there were also traces of lightning swimming around. This is the lightning cauldron. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Ever since Lu Ming obtained the lightning cauldron, it had been lying dormant in his sea of consciousness without any movement. Now, as Lu Ming faced a life or death situation, the thunder cauldron finally moved. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to be able to communicate with the thunder furnace. A wisp of his mind seemed to be connected with the thunder furnace. He could control the thunder furnace at any time to launch a fatal strike. Kill! Without any hesitation, Lu Ming controlled the thunder cauldron and blasted it out. Wang! In his sea of consciousness, the thunder cauldron let out a sound as if it was the beginning of the world. Then it flew out. At the same time, a terrifying suction force erupted from the thunder cauldron. At this moment, Lu Ming's true yuan and essence qi were all absorbed by the thunder cauldron. In addition to true yuan and essence qi, Lu Ming even felt that a part of his life essence qi had been absorbed by the thunder cauldron. Life essence qi represented lifespan. In other words, Lu Ming's lifespan had been absorbed by the thunder cauldron. Boom! After absorbing Lu Ming's true yuan essence qi and life essence qi, the thunder cauldron flew out from between Lu Ming's eyebrows. Clang! Shang Yu's battle saber was directly turned into ashes by the thunder cauldron. Shang Yu's body shook violently, and blood spurted out of his mouth as he was sent flying thousands of meters away. Wang! The thunder cauldron flew into the sky and became as big as a mountain. Thunder rumbled like the might of the heavens. Then the thunder cauldron pressed down, and endless lightning enveloped all the sacred family disciples present. Run, run, run! Shang Yu roared as he desperately tried to escape. Run, run! Sheng Kong and the others did the same as they desperately tried to escape. At this moment their hearts were filled with fear. They never dreamed that such a terrifying thunder cauldron would suddenly appear in Lu Ming's body. They felt that they were ants in front of this thunder cauldron. No, they weren't even ants. They were dust. They were incomparably tiny. At this moment they were extremely frightened. There was only one thought in their minds, and that was to escape. In the next moment, the thunder cauldron pressed down, and thick lightning bolts swam freely. Whoosh! After a breath, the thunder cauldron shrank rapidly and flew back to between Lu Ming's eyebrows, disappearing. At this moment Lu Ming felt extremely weak. His body was empty, and there wasn't even a trace of true yuan. He had lost a lot of his essence qi, and his body was extremely weak. He couldn't even fly and he collapsed to the ground. This thunder cauldron is too terrifying. Not only does it absorb true yuan and ordinary essence qi, but it also absorbs life essence qi. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. King Realm cultivators had a lifespan of 1,000 years, but Lu Ming felt that he had lost 50 years of his lifespan. 50 years of his lifespan was too great a loss. A strand of my consciousness seems to be able to connect with the thunder cauldron. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He realized that a strand of his consciousness could connect with the thunder cauldron. In other words, as long as Lu Ming wanted to, he could control the thunder cauldron and launch an attack. But in the next moment, Lu Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. Controlling the thunder cauldron to attack? What a joke! Not to mention that one attack from the thunder cauldron could suck out all of his true yuan and essence qi. He would be completely weak, and he would be at the mercy of others. Also, losing 50 years of his lifespan at once, even if Lu Ming was a King Realm cultivator, he wouldn't be able to use it many times before his lifespan ran out and he died. This thunder cauldron can't be used unless it's absolutely necessary. However, it can be considered as one more life-saving method. Lu Ming thought to himself. Shua! At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and Dandan flew back. Dandan was indeed magical. Just now, he was also covered by the thunder cauldron, but he was completely fine. Dandan, bring me to see if the people of the Shang clan are dead, Lu Ming said. At this moment he was so weak that he couldn't even walk. Dandan's body emitted a faint light, and it trembled slightly. Then it rapidly grew to the size of a water tank. Lu Ming lay on top of Dandan, and Dandan flew around with Lu Ming. Within a 10-mile radius it was a mess. There were traces of being struck by lightning everywhere. On the messy ground there were corpses lying on the ground. It seemed that the remaining youths of the Shang clan were all killed by the thunder cauldron. In one place Lu Ming saw Shang Kong's corpse. Lu Ming suddenly saw a figure crawling forward at the edge of the area covered by the lightning. This figure was in tatters, and his hair was all cut off by the lightning. However, Lu Ming could still tell at a glance that it was Shang Yu. When the thunder cauldron flew out from Lu Ming's forehead, Shang Yu was sent flying a few thousand meters away. Then, he fled frantically and almost escaped the area covered by the thunder cauldron. Chapter 528. Let's go. Lu Ming patted Dandan, and Dandan flew towards Shang Yu. Seeing Lu Ming flying towards him, Shang Yu was terrified. He kept screaming and crawling forward. Shang Yu, who's the dead one now? Lu Ming laid on Dandan's body and flew above Shang Yu, looking down at him coldly. Lu Ming, you've killed so many of my Shang family's people. You have to die too. Shang Yu roared. Hehe. I don't know how many times your Shang family's people have said this. I'm tired of hearing it. Lu Ming smiled faintly, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Wait a minute, Lu Ming, I beg you, don't kill me. I can swear a blood oath, that I won't say a word about today's matter. I beg you, spare me this time. Seeing Lu Ming's killing intent, Shang Yu was scared and began to beg for mercy. I still trust the dead more. Lu Ming was unmoved. No, don't, Lu Ming. I know there's a profound crystal mine in the scaled demon plane. As long as you let me go, I'll tell you the location of the mine. Shang Yu shouted. Power Upanishad crystal lode? Lu Ming's heart shook and his eyes lit up. A profound crystal mine was different from a profound crystal pit. A profound crystal pit could only produce a few pieces, and at most dozens of profound crystals. However, the veins of the Power Upanishad crystal were different. Even the smallest one could produce more than 100 Power Upanishad crystal. And this was the smallest. If there were more, there would be nothing left. This was a huge temptation for anyone. Tell me, where is the profound crystal lode? Lu Ming asked in a deep voice. As long as you promise me not to kill me, I'll tell you. Otherwise, even if I die, I won't tell you. Shang Yu shouted. You, Lu Ming's eyes flickered as if he was hesitating. Shang Yu was on tenterhooks, afraid that Lu Ming would kill him. Hesitating for a while, Lu Ming said, All right, I agree. I won't kill you. Tell me, where is the lode of the Power Upanishad crystal? Swear. I'll only believe you if you swear a blood oath. Shang Yu called out. You talk too much. Since you don't believe me, then die. Lu Ming's killing intent exploded. Wait a minute, I'll talk. There's a blue jade medallion in my ring of holding that records the exact location of that crystal vein. Shang Yu shouted loudly. Then, he looked at Lu Ming expectantly and said, I've already said it. You only need to take out the jade tablet and you'll know. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. Then patted Dandan and said, Go ahead. Wang. Dandan shook and smashed toward Shang Yu's head. Ah, Lu Ming, you said you wouldn't kill me, Shang Yu shouted, but before he could finish, Dandan smashed his head. His head exploded like a watermelon. I said I wouldn't kill you, but it doesn't mean that other things can't kill you. Lu Ming whispered. Dandan, can you take off those storage rings? Lu Ming patted Dandan again. Dandan's body shook, and a ray of light spread out. It rolled up Shang Yu's storage ring, and Shang Yu's storage ring flew into Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then, he did the same thing and took the storage rings of the other young men of the Shang family. Unfortunately, their blood essence was all gone because of the thunder cauldron, so he couldn't devour it. Then Lu Ming found the demon-suppressing spear in a pile of stones. Dandan, let's get out of here. Lu Ming said. Just now the commotion here was too great. It might have attracted other creatures over. Right now Lu Ming was in such a weak state. Any scaled demon, Detion Divine Guard, or zombie guard would definitely kill him. Dandan immediately carried Lu Ming and flew away. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, Lu Ming found a remote place and entered the Temple of Paragon. In the Supreme Divine Palace, there were many bottles and jars filled with higher-grade pills, all of which were obtained from other warriors. Lu Ming picked up the first-grade healing elixir and swallowed the entire bottle of elixir in one gulp. There was a total of 9 elixirs. He began to heal himself. Lu Ming's body was at the peak of the 6th grade, and he was slowly recovering. The medicinal power spread throughout his body, greatly increasing his recovery speed. Lu Ming's muscles squirmed slowly. The muscles on the wound on his chest squirmed and new muscles slowly grew, covering the wound and finally covering his heart. Otherwise, one would be able to see his beating heart from the outside. It was terrifying. After the medicinal power of the healing pills was used up, Lu Ming took out another bottle and swallowed it. An hour later, Lu Ming let out a long breath. His injuries were finally stabilized. This time it was really dangerous. Lu Ming sighed. To be honest, this time it was out of his expectations. Originally, he wanted to wait until he had obtained more top-grade spiritual crystals and reached the 4th level of the Martial King realm before killing Shang Yu. He didn't expect to be ambushed by Shang Yu. Most importantly, Shang Yu happened to be carrying a net-like mystical weapon, which perfectly countered the Dandan, causing the Dandan to lose its effect. Otherwise, with the Dandan around, Lu Ming would be able to break through the encirclement. Therefore, Lu Ming was placed in a dangerous situation like never before, and was almost slashed in half by Shang Yu's saber. If it weren't for the lightning cauldron, he would have died. Lu Ming guessed that the lightning cauldron was treating him as a temporary shelter. It didn't want him to die, which was why it gave Lu Ming a hand at the crucial moment. I should be more careful in the future. I shouldn't be careless, and shouldn't underestimate others. Lu Ming thought to himself. Following this, he began to circulate the true skill of the battle dragon to recover. Currently, Lu Ming's body was completely empty, without a single trace of true qi. The vortex in his dantian had completely stopped spinning. Lu Ming continued to execute the true skill of the battle dragon, but the vortex still remained motionless. However, Lu Ming did not stop, and continued to execute the true skill of the battle dragon. An hour later, under Lu Ming's persistent efforts, the vortex finally moved, and began to spin slowly. Slowly, a trace of true qi was born from the vortex, flowing through Lu Ming's body along his meridians. Nice! With a trace of true qi, things would be easier. Immediately, Lu Ming took out a pile of supreme spiritual crystals, and began to absorb their qi to speed up his recovery. In this way, Lu Ming recovered his true qi while healing his injuries. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. 3 days later, Lu Ming had recovered to his peak condition. The injuries on his body had also fully recovered. Of course, the 50 years of life that he had lost could not be recovered. Lu Ming sat cross-legged, playing with a blue jade token in his hand, deep in thought. This jade token was the one that Shang Yu had mentioned, the one that recorded the location of the profound crystal vein. Lu Ming had already taken a look at it earlier. There was indeed a map inside, and the location of the profound crystal vein was marked. However, Lu Ming did not rush over immediately. Is Shang Yu really so kind as to tell me the location of the profound crystal vein? Even if it's for the sake of my life, I have to be careful of any traps. Chapter 529. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. Could it be a trap? However, he was unwilling to give up just like that. It was a load of power Upanishad crystal, which contained at least 100 pieces of power Upanishad crystals. 100 ultimacy crystals were only worth a little more than 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Although it was not very valuable, the value of ultimacy crystals could not be measured by price. In the market, even if you had 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals, you might not be able to buy 100 ultimacy crystals. There was a price but no market. Moreover, there was a great possibility that there would be middle-grade ultimacy crystals in the ultimacy crystal load. Lu Ming did not want to miss this opportunity. Forget it. I should improve my cultivation first. When I reach the 4th level of the Martial King Realm and enter the Lesser King Realm, there won't be many people in the Lesser King Realm who can kill me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Then, he took out the storage rings of the 17 young men of the sacred family, arranged the supreme spiritual crystals in them, and counted them. 820,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. In total, there were 820,000 supreme spiritual crystals in the storage rings of the 17 young men of the sacred family. Lu Ming was overjoyed. It was the first time that he had so many supreme spiritual crystals. Saint Jades alone had contributed 210,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming put away the supreme spiritual crystals happily. Lu Ming did not count the other things for the time being. Good. Now let's break through to the 4th level of the Martial King Realm. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. With a wave of his hand, 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals appeared. Bang! 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 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals all exploded. The rich spiritual chi of heaven and earth was all devoured by the 9 dragons' bloodline. The endless spiritual chi turned into genuine essence. Lu Ming began to break through to the 4th level of the Martial King Realm. There was a watershed between the 3rd level of the Martial King Realm and the 4th level of the Martial King Realm. Breaking through would greatly improve one's strength, but it was also very difficult. 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals were not enough. So Lu Ming took out another 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals. In this way, 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals followed by 50,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming had devoured 250,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Boom! Boom! At this time, Lu Ming's body constantly emitted rumbling sounds. The cyclone in his dantian crazily spun. His rich and condensed true essence was like a great river, roiling and rumbling. 2 hours later, Lu Ming suddenly opened his eyes. 2 spear lights shot out from his eyes. 4th layer Martial King Realm, I've finally broken through. Lu Ming came out. With a thought, he left the Temple of Paragon and appeared on a mountain peak. Boom! Lu Ming revolved his true essence and suddenly stamped his foot. His feet, which were covered with zhanyuan, stepped on the mountain peak. The mountain peak seemed to have been struck by millions of pounds of heavy objects. It emitted a violent rumbling sound and then suddenly exploded. Gravel flew everywhere and dust filled the air. It was as if doomsday had arrived. With a single step, a 1,000-meter-tall mountain shattered. It was a horrifying sight. Lu Ming floated in the air, carefully feeling the true essence in his body. 4th layer Martial King Realm is indeed powerful. The strength of my true yuan is 7 times stronger than that of the 3rd layer Martial King Realm. However, my battle strength did not increase that much. Lu Ming muttered. Normally, a 4th layer Martial King Realm Lesser Success King Realm cultivator's battle strength was 2 levels stronger than a 3rd layer Martial King Realm cultivator. For example, Shang Jiang, who was at the peak of the 4th layer Martial King Realm, was 2 levels stronger than a 3rd-layer Martial King Realm cultivator. However, Lu Ming's battle strength did not increase by 2 levels after breaking through to the 4th-layer Martial King Realm. 4th-layer Martial King Realm cultivators were so strong because their true essence was much more condensed and abundant, and also because of their intent realm. A lesser success King Realm cultivator's intent realm of the heavens and earth had entered the 1st-layer lesser success King Realm, which greatly increased their battle strength. However, Lu Ming's intent realm had already entered the 1st-layer lesser success King Realm. Now that he had reached the 4th-layer Martial King Realm, his intent realm did not increase. Therefore, Lu Ming's battle strength did not increase by 2 levels, but more than 1. Lu Ming estimated that if he fought with his full strength, he would not be weaker than an early-stage 6th-layer Martial King Realm cultivator. Facing a peak 6th-layer Martial King Realm cultivator, it should not be a problem for him to escape. When my fire intent is condensed into the intent rune, my battle strength will increase significantly, Lu Ming pondered. There are still 570,000 spiritual crystals left. I'll keep them for now. I'll need them for a lot of things after I get out of here. Now let's go check out the Ultimacy Crystal Vein. With a flicker, Lu Ming turned into a beam of light and flew toward the location marked on the Jade Badge at an extremely fast speed. After flying for about 1,000,000 miles, he was surrounded by boundless mountains, where many tribes of scaled demons resided. However, the tribes of scaled demons here were all large tribes with more than 10,000 people. There were many powerful cultivators among them. Lu Ming did not dare to target such a large tribe of scaled demons by himself. If a scaled demon of the Greater Success King Realm appeared, he would be dead for sure. It's around here. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. According to the mark on the map, it should be around here. Lu Ming flew into the sky and hid in a cloud. He restrained his aura and merged with the cloud. Then his true yuan gushed out and the cloud slowly flew forward. Lu Ming scanned the area below. After a while, there it is. Suddenly Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Among the mountains below, there was a small mountain peak that was very strange. The other mountain peaks were covered in lush green grass and trees. However, all the plants on this small mountain peak were fiery red, as if the entire mountain was wrapped in flames. This small mountain peak was the Ultimacy Crystal Vein that Shang Yu had mentioned. Lu Ming did not rush out immediately. Instead, he continued to hide in the cloud and float while observing the surroundings. After a while, he found something. On a nearby mountain peak, Lu Ming saw a figure flash by. Then, Lu Ming carefully sensed the aura of a large number of martial artists on the surrounding mountains. There were at least 100 of them. These people had restrained their aura. If not for Lu Ming carefully sensing, he would not have been able to sense them. There is indeed a trap. These people are most likely from the Shang family. That Shang Yu did not have good intentions. He tricked me into coming here. If I rush out like this, I will definitely be blasted to pieces. However, these people from the Shang family are lying in ambush on the surrounding mountains. What are they trying to do? Who are they waiting for? Lu Ming's eyes flickered as various thoughts flashed through his mind. Immediately, he restrained his aura and tried his best not to let out a trace of it to avoid being discovered by the people from the Shang family. Lu Ming controlled the cloud and circled it in the sky of this area, waiting for it to arrive. On one of the mountain peaks, under an ancient tree, there were several young figures sitting cross-legged. What the hell? Why is that guy Shang Yu not here yet? It's already past the appointed time. One of the tall young men said in a bad mood, I have received news that that guy is chasing after a guy called Lu Ming. He is trying to make a contribution in front of the young master of Star Palace. Another young man with a pale face sneered. That guy Shang Yu only thinks about flattering the young master of Star Palace every day. Forget it, it doesn't matter if he comes or not. The tall young man snorted. Chapter 530. Time flew by quickly, and a day passed in the blink of an eye. There was no movement at all. When night fell on the second day, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard from afar. That's the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. There were at least 50 coffins flying over from afar. It seems like the Shang family is here to ambush the Heavenly Corpse sect. Interesting. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Swoosh. Swoosh. More than 50 coffins flew towards the vein of profound sense crystals. In the next moment they were all suspended above the profound crystal vein. A bush opened, and several zombie guards in black robes walked out. Hee, it seems like the news is correct. There is indeed a profound crystal vein here. A zombie guard let out a cold laugh. Let's start digging. Another zombie guard said. Right at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Inscriptions emerged around the load of power Upanishad crystal, sparkling with dazzling light. In the blink of an eye, a huge light shield was formed, enveloping the Heavenly Corpse sect. Not good, it's an inscription array. Retreat. A zombie guard shouted, controlling the refined corpse to rush out. Swoosh. Swoosh. Light swords suddenly appeared on the light shield, stabbing toward the zombie guards and refined corpses. Boom. Boom. With a loud explosion, the zombie guards and refined corpses were sent flying. Swoosh. 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 At this moment, figures rushed out from the surrounding forest. More than 100 figures surrounded the people of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Detian Divine Guards. Damn it, are you from the Shung family? We've been tricked. A zombie guard shouted. It's too late to know now. Trash of the Heavenly Corpse sect, be obedient and become my reward. The tall youth from the Shung family laughed. Obviously, they were the leaders of the Shung family. Charge out. A zombie guard yelled. More than 50 refined corpses appeared from the 50 coffins. Iron chains flew across the sky, attacking the light shield in all directions. Control the array and kill the trash of the Heavenly Corpse sect. The pale-faced young man from the Saint clan ordered. Immediately, 36 people flew to all directions of the inscription array. Their true essence gushed out as they controlled the inscription array to attack. As the inscriptions fought, the light became even more dazzling. Streaks of sword chi formed and pierced toward the Heavenly Corpse sect and the many refined corpses. Boom! Boom! For a time the rumbling sounds continued. Something's wrong. At this moment, the young man with a slightly pale face spoke. What's wrong? The tall young man asked. There's something wrong with the number of corpse guards. There are only over 20 corpse guards in the formation. Although there are 50 coffins, only one refined corpse appeared in each coffin. The pale-faced young man frowned. Then his eyes lit up and he shouted, "Oh no! Only a part of the Heavenly Corpse sect's people went in." What? The tall young man was taken aback. Sacred Eagle, your brain is still so nimble. At this moment, a sinister laugh suddenly came from the sky. Whoosh! Whoosh! The sound of air breaking came from all directions. Corpse guards in black robes appeared one by one. There were at least 30 corpse guards in all directions. Each corpse guard was followed by 2 or even 3 refined corpses. They surrounded the Shung family's people in the middle. The Shung family's people turned pale. A corpse guard with a black mole between his eyebrows sneered. He looked at the Shung family's people and said, "When I received the news, I felt that it was a little strange. Just in case, I asked a part of us to go in first. Sure enough, this is a trap set by the Shung family. It won't be that easy to kill us. So what if a part of you is trapped in the formation? If you lose a part of your people, you will still die." The pale-faced young man, Sacred Eagle, said coldly, "Is that so? Today it's you who will die. Kill." The corpse guard with a mole between his eyebrows roared. His eyes flashed with ruthlessness and murderous intent. "Kill! Kill!" The corpse guards roared. The refined corpses waved their iron chains and charged toward the Shung family's people. "Kill!" Sacred Eagle also roared. His body emitted a violent aura. He shook his arms and charged toward the corpse guard with a mole between his eyebrows like a goshawk. He displayed his powerful strength. His cultivation was at the mid-stage of LV6 Martial King Realm. "Kill!" The corpse guard with a mole between his eyebrows roared. Beside him, 2 refined corpses charged toward Sacred Eagle. These 2 refined corpses were at the mid-stage of LV6 Martial King Realm. At the same time, the young man with a mole between his eyebrows also charged toward Sacred Eagle. His strength was also at the mid-stage of LV6 Martial King Realm. Boom! Boom! After a few explosions, Sacred Eagle fought against 2 refined corpses and a corpse guard at the same level. He was not at a disadvantage. In terms of combat strength, the Shang family's geniuses had the upper hand. The heavenly corpse sex advantage was their refined corpses. They had a large number of refined corpses and were invulnerable. Boom! Boom! Explosions rang out continuously as the two sides engaged in an intense battle. The corpse guards in the inscription formation also controlled the refined corpses to attack the inscription formation. However, the inscription formation was very sturdy and could not be broken in a short time. I didn't expect to see such a big battle. Lu Ming withdrew his aura and stood still, watching quietly. Bang! Bang! At this moment, the ground around the profound crystal mine began to undulate. Black demonic beasts that looked like black leopards crawled out from the ground. These demonic beasts waved their claws, causing the ground to crack. Oh no, these demonic corpses are going to destroy the formation base. Sacred Eagle shouted. Attack those demonic corpses! The tall young man from the Shang family shouted. The 36 young men from the Shang family who were controlling the inscription formation also attacked the demonic corpses. However, as part of the formation base was destroyed, the power of the inscription formation was greatly weakened. In the inscription formation, the refined corpses attacked even more crazily. The inscription formation shook violently as if it would collapse at any time. Damn it! Sacred Eagle roared. Die! The corpse guard with a mole between his eyebrows controlled the refined corpses to attack Sacred Eagle. Two corpse guards blocked in front of him and attacked without fear of death. Sacred Eagle's attacks landed on the refined corpses and only left slight wounds. As for the corpse guards, they hid behind the corpses and attacked. Ah! At this moment someone screamed. Someone from the Shang family was killed. Attack those corpse guards. Don't fight with the refined corpses. Sacred Eagle shouted. Boom! At this moment, the inscription formation below completely collapsed. The corpse guards and refined corpses in the inscription formation rushed out crazily and joined the battle. For a moment, the Shang family was completely at a disadvantage. From time to time, experts from the Shang family were killed. However, the Heavenly Corpse sect did not have it easy either. Chapter 531. Once the zombie guard of the Heavenly Corpse sect died, the refined corpses he controlled would become useless. Therefore, the people of the Shang family attacked the zombie guards with all their might. Kill! 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 Both sides were in a frenzy. Energy exploded, iron chains flew across the sky, and blood filled the air. People were constantly killed and fell to the ground. But overall, the people of the Shang family were completely at a disadvantage. Soon dozens of people were killed. The Shang family only had a little over 100 people. Although the Heavenly Corpse sect only had a little over 50 zombie guards, each zombie guard had 2 to 3 refined corpses. In total, there were close to 200 of them. Kill! Shang Ying was wearing a pair of spirit weapon gloves. His claws were shocking, and he kept slashing out as if he could tear everything apart. But the 2 refined corpses kept him busy. Behind him, the zombie guard with a mole between his eyebrows kept launching sneak attacks. Damn it! Shang Ying's eyes were red. He looked up to the sky and roared. He ignored the iron chains that were attacking him and rushed over. Poochie! A chain pierced through his shoulder. Shang Ying roared and took this opportunity to rush over. He finally avoided the 2 refined corpses and rushed toward the zombie guard with a mole between his eyebrows. Die! Shang Ying's body was as fast as lightning. His claws pierced through the void and grabbed at the zombie guard's heart. The zombie guard with a mole between his eyebrows was shocked. He slashed out with his saber, trying his best to block Shang Ying's attack. As long as he could block one of Shang Ying's attacks, the 2 refined corpses would arrive. But the combat strength of zombie guards wasn't high to begin with. How could they compare to a genius like Shang Ying? The zombie guard with a mole between his eyebrows tried his best, but he still couldn't block Shang Ying's attack. Blood splattered everywhere. One of his arms was torn off by Shang Ying. At this moment, the 2 refined corpses arrived. Kill, kill, kill him! The zombie guard with a mole between his eyebrows roared. The 2 zombie guards charged towards the Sacred Eagle without fear of death. Shang Ying's shoulder had been pierced through by the iron chain, so his strength was weakened. He could only try his best to block. Ah! At this moment a shocking scream was heard. Sheng Cheng! Sheng Ying roared. This time there were a total of 3 people in the Sheng family who had reached the 6th layer martial king realm. Sheng Ying, the tall youth, and Sheng Cheng. However, the Heavenly Corpse sect also had 3 zombie guards who had reached the 6th layer martial king realm, and 7 refined corpses. At this moment, Sheng Cheng was besieged by 3 refined corpses of LV6 martial king realm. In the end he was defeated and pierced through by the iron chains. With the death of a 6th layer martial king, the morale of the Sheng family members was greatly reduced. More and more people were killed. From start to finish more than 50 people had died on the spot. Retreat, retreat! Sheng Ying roared. If this went on, the entire Sheng family would be annihilated. You want to leave? Not so easy. The zombie guard with the mole on its forehead was furious. The zombie guards continued to control the refined corpses to kill the members of the Sheng family. As for the remaining 50+ members of the Sheng family, they gathered together and rushed towards a single direction. The members of the Sheng family gathered together and were determined to retreat. The people of the Heavenly Corpse sect couldn't stop them. After leaving behind a few more corpses, they successfully broke out of the encirclement and sped off into the distance. Scum of the Heavenly Corpse sect! I, Sacred Eagle, will remember this debt. The voice came, but the person had already disappeared. Humph, you're lucky to escape fast. The eyes of the zombie guard with the mole on its forehead were full of fire. He continued, quickly collect the corpses of the Sheng family, and bring them back to refine them into refined corpses. Also, hurry up and dig out the profound crystals in this mountain. The young man with the mole on his forehead ordered loudly. When the members of the Sheng family returned, they would definitely send reinforcements. Now they had to hurry up. The remaining zombie guards quickly took action. The zombie guard with the mole on his forehead stood in the air and operated his cultivation method to heal his injuries. His arm had just been torn off by Sheng Ying, and his vitality was greatly damaged. He didn't even notice that a cloud was slowly floating above his head. Lu Ming was hiding in the cloud. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. Yes, he was going to make a move. Among these zombie guards, only a few of the 6th layer martial king were dangerous to him. As long as he killed a few of the 6th layer martial king zombie guards, the rest of the zombie guards were nothing to be afraid of. In particular, there was such a good opportunity now. How could Lu Ming miss it? Silently, the demon-suppressing spear appeared in his hand. The next moment, Extreme Dao Strike. Lu Ming turned into a ray of spear light and stabbed toward the zombie guard with the mole on his forehead from the cloud. His speed was terrifyingly fast. Not good. The zombie guard with the mole on his forehead suddenly panicked, but it was too late. Poochie! The head of the zombie guard with the mole on his forehead directly exploded. He was killed by Lu Ming in one move. Not good enemy attack. The other zombie guards reacted and roared in anger. They controlled the refined corpses and rushed toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps and rushed into the sky. With a wave of his hand, thunder and lightning gathered in the sky. Die for me! Lu Ming struck his palm downward, and the thunderbolts in the sky struck the zombie guards below. Whether it was the zombie guards or the refined corpses, they were all very afraid of thunder and lightning. Sizzle! The zombie guards below the low-level martial king realm were struck by the thunder and screamed miserably. A large amount of corpse chi was released from their bodies and they fell to the ground, killed. As for the zombie guards above the low-level martial king realm, although they were not killed, they were injured to varying degrees. Kill! Lu Ming held the long spear and charged into the group of zombie guards. He deliberately avoided the 2 zombie guards and their refined corpses, and focused on the zombie guards of the 4th and 5th level martial king realm. Puff! Puff! Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps and his speed was too fast. He easily avoided the refined corpses and charged toward the zombie guards. This made the refined corpses of the zombie guards useless. Damn it, damn it! The 2 zombie guards of the 6th level martial king realm were furious. Bastards of the Heavenly Corpse sect, die! Lu Ming's eyes were full of killing intent. He thought of Elder Zhuang and the 49 people who came with him from the east. He had sworn to avenge them. Whoosh! Whoosh! The spear light pierced out and killed 2 more people. Back off, we'll kill him." A zombie guard of the 6th level Martial King realm yelled. The 2 zombie guards of the 6th level Martial King realm controlled 5 refined corpses and surrounded Lu Ming. They waved the iron chains and tried to block Lu Ming's way of retreat. The other 3 zombie guards of the low-level Martial King realm retreated quickly. As for the zombie guards below the low-level Martial King realm, they were all dead. In the battle with the Shang family, the Heavenly Corpse sect only lost a dozen zombie guards. There were still more than 30 people left. But now, in the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had killed only 5 of them. Lu Ming was their nemesis. The main reason was that the zombie guard with the mole in between his eyebrows had been killed by Lu Ming in one fell swoop. No one could restrain Lu Ming. Therefore, Lu Ming was able to kill so many people as if he was cutting melons and vegetables. "I'll kill you now." Lu Ming stared at the 2 zombie guards of the 6th level Martial King realm. He swept out the long spear and broke the iron chains around him. Dandan smash. In the next moment, Lu Ming patted Dandan. Whoosh. Chapter 532. Bang. That zombie guard was accurately hit in the face by Dandan. Instantly, that pale face was completely deformed and twisted together. The zombie guard was unable to focus in such a miserable state. The 2 refined corpses paused for a moment like 2 pieces of wood. Just this one time was enough. Lu Ming's figure dashed past and dashed toward the zombie guard. Ah! The zombie guard screamed as it sensed danger approaching. It tried to control the refined corpses to help while retreating at the same time. However, it was too late. Puff! Lu Ming's spear penetrated the zombie guard's heart. An early-stage 6th-layer Martial King zombie guard was dead. As soon as it died, the 2 refined corpses stopped in the air. The remaining 6th-layer Martial King zombie guard wanted to help, but it quickly retreated upon seeing this. He controlled the 3 zombie guards to surround him tightly. Lu Ming's eyes flickered, but he did not chase after it. Zombie guards were difficult to kill once they controlled the refined corpses to defend themselves. Only like just now, with the momentum of a thunderbolt, and catching them off guard, could they easily kill those corpse guards. The 4 zombie guards fled with the 9 refined corpses, disappearing in the blink of an eye. The final winner of this battle was Lu Ming. Lu Ming was only able to do this because he had broken through to the lesser success king realm. It was impossible for him to do this before. Seal the souls of the zombie guards first. Lu Ming waved his hand, and dozens of soul-sealing crystals appeared. Lu Ming controlled them with his true yuan and flew toward the corpses of the zombie guards. Then Lu Ming channeled his true yuan into the soul-sealing crystals. The soul-sealing crystals glowed and sealed the souls of the zombie guards in them. After that, Lu Ming waved his hand again, and the soul-sealing crystals flew back to Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The souls of the zombie guards in the soul-sealing crystals alone would be a great reward. Then Lu Ming's figure flickered as he took the storage rings of the Shang family and the zombie guards. Of course, he also devoured the blood essence of the members of the Shang family. There are so many storage rings. How many spirit crystals are there? Lu Ming's heart was burning with passion. There was a flash of excitement in his eyes. However, now wasn't the time to think about this. The profound crystal lode hadn't been excavated yet. Lu Ming didn't have much time left. Regardless of whether it was the Shang family or the Heavenly Corpse sect, there was a possibility that they would bring people back. Immediately, Lu Ming took out a huge battle axe and chopped down at the small mountain. Bang! Gravel flew everywhere, and a large piece of the small mountain peak was chopped off. This was a profound crystal lode, so the ground here was exceptionally hard. If it were an ordinary mountain, Lu Ming's axe could have easily chopped it in half. But now that Lu Ming's cultivation had improved greatly, the digging was also very fast. Lu Ming brandished his battle axe, constantly chopping down. Soon large chunks of stone were sent flying. The world was filled with an intense concept of fire. Concept of fire. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He was currently lacking profound crystals of fire attribute. If he could find a piece of fire attribute mid-grade profound crystal, his concept of fire would be able to break through. One piece. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a piece of fiery red profound crystal embedded in the rock below. Lu Ming put away the fire attribute profound meaning crystal happily, and continued to dig with all his might. Next, more and more profound crystals were dug out. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 10 pieces, 20 pieces. The profound crystal lode was indeed worthy of being called a lode. There were so many profound crystals that the profound crystal pit couldn't compare to. 2 hours later, the entire mountain peak had disappeared. And Lu Ming had already dug out 300 profound crystals. Yes, a total of 300 fire attribute profound crystals. Rich Lu Ming felt rich. However, he still hadn't found any mid-grade profound crystals, which was Lu Ming's goal. Lu Ming continued to dig, digging a few meters down the entire mountain peak. However, he still did not find anything. He did not even see a single low-grade profound crystal. Is there really nothing? It can't be, right? Although this profound crystal lode is very small, it should be able to condense mid-grade profound crystals, right? Lu Ming was unwilling to give up, and continued to dig. Dang! Suddenly, Lu Ming's battle axe chopped down on a hard rock, but it didn't split. This is... Lu Ming's eyes brightened. Below, a head-sized rock was revealed. This rock's color was somewhat different from the other rocks. It was deeper and more fiery red. Lu Ming immediately thought of the earth attribute mid-grade profound crystal. Didn't he also find it in a special rock? Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He raised his battle axe and Zhen Yuan burst out, chopping down on this rock. Dang! Cracks appeared on this rock. Immediately, Lu Ming switched to the back of his axe and struck the rock. Crack, crack. Cracks appeared on the rock like a spider web covering the entire rock. More and more cracks appeared and finally the entire rock cracked open. An incomparably intense fire heaven and earth concept spread out. A fiery red crystal lay quietly in the middle of the rock. It was sparkling, translucent, and extremely dazzling. A mid-grade fire attribute profound crystal. Lu Ming revealed an excited expression. Zhen Yuan swept out, and this profound crystal flew into his hand. He then put it away in a jade box. This time's harvest is not bad, not bad. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles. He was very satisfied. Now let's find a place to condense the fire concept rune, and then return to Profound Heaven City to submit the mission. Lu Ming smiled faintly, and then swept his gaze over. With a wave of his hand, the power of thunder spread out, turning those motionless refined corpses into charcoal. Then Lu Ming soared into the sky and left. 1,000,000 miles away, Lu Ming entered the Temple of Paragon and sat down cross-legged. Beside him was the Enlightenment Ancient Tree's bud. During this period, the clear spring water in the jade box had decreased by a lot, and only a small layer was left. The Enlightenment Ancient Tree's bud was even more lustrous, and the aura it emitted was even more mysterious. As for the other branch, there was no movement. Lu Ming reckoned that the branch had most likely withered completely. It was impossible for it to live anymore. Moreover, there was a rumor that the same Enlightenment Ancient Tree could only exist in the world. It was impossible for two identical Enlightenment Ancient Trees to exist. This was the law of heaven and earth. Looks like I have to find some spiritual liquid after I go out. Otherwise, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree won't be able to grow. It'll be good if it doesn't wither. Lu Ming thought. Then his hand moved, and the mid-grade fire attribute profound crystal appeared in his hand. A mid-grade profound crystal with the Enlightenment Ancient Tree should be able to condense successfully. Lu Ming's eyes flashed and he squeezed hard. Gotcha! The mid-grade profound crystal exploded, and an extremely strong fire concept of heaven and earth filled the area. Lu Ming could even see dense strands of concept floating around him. Lu Ming immediately closed his eyes and focused on comprehending. Chapter 533. On the side, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree emitted a mysterious aura that pushed Lu Ming's state to its peak. His mind was empty and his mind was clear. His comprehension speed was 10 times faster than usual. The faster he comprehended, the more intent threads he could absorb. Lu Ming felt that his comprehension of fire intent had reached a limit. Condense! With a low shout, a strong intent of fire exploded from his body, making Lu Ming look like a burning man. In the next moment, the intent of fire converged in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness and started to condense crazily. At this moment, the lightning rune and wind rune in his sea of consciousness vibrated slightly, emitting a force that prevented Lu Ming from condensing the intent of fire rune. "Nothing can stop me. Condense!" Lu Ming roared. With the help of the mid-grade profound crystal and the enlightenment ancient tree, the intent of fire rune started to condense in his sea of consciousness with an unstoppable force. After a while, an inch-long intent rune turned fiery red and sparkled, floating in his sea of consciousness. The intent of fire rune was formed. However, it didn't stop. The intent of heaven and earth contained within the mid-grade profound crystal was too dense and intense. The price of a medium-grade profound crystal was 1,000 times higher than that of a low-grade one. It was easy to see the difference between the two. At this moment, there were still many intent threads being absorbed by Lu Ming. The intent of fire rune in his sea of consciousness was slowly growing. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 2 inches. When the fire attribute mid-grade profound crystal was completely consumed, Lu Ming's intent of fire rune actually reached 2 inches in length. First level intent small success. Lu Ming had actually cultivated the concept of fire to the level of initial success in one go. This was all thanks to the enlightenment ancient tree. If it were someone else, even if they had a mid-grade profound crystal, they wouldn't have such an effect. First level small success fire intent. Let's go see its effects. Lu Ming revealed a look of anticipation. After leaving the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming flew into the sky. Wang! As soon as the intent of fire was displayed, endless flames appeared in the sky and crazily gathered in Lu Ming's palm. A ball of fire appeared in Lu Ming's palm. It was so hot that it distorted the space around it. With a wave of his hand, the fireball flew out and exploded. Blazing flames engulfed everything within a radius of 10 li. It was as if a sun had exploded. Lu Ming nodded in satisfaction. Now that the 3 intents have condensed into intent runes, how strong will the fusion of the 3 intents be? Thinking up to this point, Lu Ming's heart was burning. The demon-suppressing spear appeared in his hand, and piercing the spear, and piercing towards a 1,000-meter-tall mountain. The 3 intents, the intent of the spear, pierced the mountain poo. Lu Ming only heard a soft sound. Then, he saw that there was a big hole on the mountainside of the 10,000 feet mountain peak that was penetrating from the front to the back. The 1,000-meter-tall mountain was pierced through by Lu Ming's casual spear. Lu Ming didn't use any true yuan in this spear. It was purely based on intent. Strong, too strong. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Lu Ming realized that the fusion of the 3 intents was terrifyingly strong. Lu Ming estimated that it was even stronger than cultivating a single intent to the first-level large success stage. It was close to the first-level perfection stage. In other words, the pure power of Lu Ming's current concept was already slightly stronger than that of an ordinary phenomenal king. It seems that the fusion of the 3 intents is indeed terrifying. If I'm not wrong, the fusion of 2 first-level entry intents is comparable to a first-level small success stage. And the fusion of 3 first-level entry intents is comparable to a first-level large success stage. As for me, I already have 2 intents at the first-level small success stage. If I fuse the 3 intents together, it will be comparable to a first-level small success stage. When my wind intent stage breaks through to the first-level small success stage, the fusion of the 3 intents will be comparable to a first-level small success stage. Lu Ming speculated in his mind. With the breakthrough of the fire intent stage, Lu Ming's battle strength had doubled. Now Lu Ming was confident that he could kill a martial artist at the early stage of the 6th level of the martial king realm in one move without using the extreme move. Even if he was facing a peak 6th level martial king realm warrior, Lu Ming could easily defeat and kill him. Of course, those peerless geniuses who could fight above their level were another matter. Now, Lu Ming was not afraid of anyone below the king realm. Now let's go back to Tianqian City. Whoosh! With a flash, he flew toward the exit of the scaled demon plane. Half a day later, Lu Ming returned to the high wall and walked toward the exit. 2 days later, Lu Ming returned to Tianqian City. Then, Lu Ming came to the 3rd area and walked into a huge mansion. "Young master, do you want to rent a house? It costs 100 extreme spiritual crystals a day." An old man asked. "I'll rent it for a month." Lu Ming nodded and took out 3,000 extreme spiritual crystals and gave them to the old man. "Okay." With a smile on his face, the elder gave Lu Ming a jade token. Lu Ming took the jade badge and walked into the room according to the number on it. After closing the door, Lu Ming sat down with his legs crossed. As expected of a room that costs 100 extreme spiritual crystals, the intense stage of the heavens and earth is extremely strong, Lu Ming thought as he sensed the environment. He found that although the intense stage of the heavens and earth here was not as strong as the Tao Enlightenment Palace in the east, it was not too far off. Furthermore, the spiritual qi here was extremely rich, a few times richer than the East Sky courtyard where he lived. Lu Ming exclaimed in his mind. The experts of the ancient times were indeed extraordinary. They were able to build a sacred place for cultivation in this city. How terrifying! Now let's count them first. Lu Ming waved his hand and more than 100 storage rings appeared on the ground. They were all left behind by the geniuses of the Shang family and the corpse guards of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming was already quite experienced in counting the spoils of war and was very interested in it. He immediately counted them one by one. Top-grade spirit crystals, spirit grass and spirit flowers, weapon refining materials and spirit weapons, and cultivation method manuals were all placed in one piece. Also, there's a soul sealing crystal. Finally, all the extreme spiritual crystals were counted. 8. 66 million extreme spiritual crystals. A total of 8. 66 million extreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming sucked in a breath of cold air and was overjoyed. 8. 66 million extreme spiritual crystals. Even a king in the greater success stage did not have so much wealth. It was probably comparable to the wealth of a pinnacle king. In addition, various materials, spiritual weapons and spiritual grass were also worth a lot of extreme spiritual crystals. It was a pity that Lu Ming did not find a suitable long spear among the spirit weapons. Now, ordinary level 5 spears were no longer suitable for Lu Ming. Lu Ming wanted to find an upper level 5 spear to use first, but unfortunately, he did not have one. There were very few people who used spears. If I have time, I'll buy one. Lu Ming thought and then looked at the pile of soul-sealing crystals. There were more than 50 soul-sealing crystals here. They were Lu Ming's own. Chapter 534. There were a total of 110 pieces, all of which were sealed with the souls of the Heavenly Corpse sect's corpse guards. Among them, there were 55 pieces of LV1 Martial King Realm, 30 pieces of LV2 Martial King Realm, 19 pieces of LV3 Martial King Realm, 10 pieces of LV4 Martial King Realm, 3 pieces of LV5 Martial King Realm, 2 pieces of LV6 Martial King Realm, 2,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV1 Martial King Realm, 5,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV2 Martial King Realm, 10,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV3 Martial King Realm, 20,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV4 Martial King Realm, 50,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV5 Martial King Realm, 100,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals for LV6 Martial King Realm. In total, the soul-sealing crystals were worth 800,000 pieces of Supreme Spiritual Crystals. It was a big harvest, an absolutely big harvest. This time, Lu Ming's gains added up to more than 10 million Supreme-grade Spirit Crystals. This was a Supreme-grade Spiritual Crystal, not a low-grade one. This was not counting the Power Upanishad crystals. He was rich. This time Lu Ming was really rich. It's a pity that my comprehension of the essence realm of heaven and earth is not deep enough. Otherwise, with so many resources, my cultivation would be greatly improved. Lu Ming felt it was a pity. Next, I need to focus on comprehending the essence realm of heaven and earth, the 3 skills of the Dragon God, and the 9 Dragon Sky-stomping steps. Lu Ming decided on the direction of his cultivation. The 9 Dragon Sky-stomping steps was a god-level martial skill with both offensive and movement power. Lu Ming would not slack off and would comprehend it when he had time. As for the 3 skills of the Dragon God, as Lu Ming's main offensive means, Lu Ming would not slack off. Now, I'd better go to the mission hall and hand in the mission. Lu Ming tidied up and walked to the mission hall. The mission hall was still crowded with people coming and going. Lu Ming found that most people came to the Scale Demon Plane. Lu Ming was about to walk to the counter for the Scale Demon Plane mission when a cold shout was heard. "Lu Ming, it's you." Lu Ming was taken aback. He turned around and his eyes turned cold. 3 figures walked towards Lu Ming. The person leading the group was an old man. Sheng Yao was the Peak King who had gone to the Eastern Branch Palace. Behind Sheng Yao were 2 young men. One of them was Shang Wushuang, and the other looked to be in his late 20s. Lu Ming did not recognize him. The voice just now had come from Shang Wushuang. Lu Ming, you're still alive? When Sheng Yao saw Lu Ming, there was a flash of disbelief in his eyes. Sheng Yao knew that Shang Yu and the others wanted to kill Lu Ming in the Scaled Demon Plane. Originally, he thought that Lu Ming was already dead by now. Now Lu Ming actually appeared in front of him lively and lively. One could imagine the shock in his heart. Could it be that this little bastard didn't go to the Scaled Demon Plane? Or maybe Shang Yu and the others didn't find him? Sheng Yao's mind spun rapidly. As for Shang Yu and the others being killed by Lu Ming, he did not even think about it because it was impossible. Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he looked at Sheng Yao and sneered. As an elder of the Emperor Sky Divine Palace, you're actually looking forward to my death. Haha, what a joke. Unfortunately, I've disappointed you. Lu Ming's voice spread far and wide, attracting the attention of a group of people. How dare you? Kid, what's with your attitude? How dare you speak to Elder Sheng Yao like that? You're being disrespectful. Behind Sheng Yao, the unfamiliar young man shouted with an arrogant look on his face. Disrespectful? Respect my ass. This old man wants me dead the moment he sees me. Why should I respect him? Are you fucking crazy? Lu Ming scolded loudly and looked at the young man from the corner of his eyes. The young man was so angry that he was trembling all over. How dare you? Sheng Yao shouted. His expression was extremely ugly. If this wasn't a public place, he would have slapped Lu Ming to death. However, there were so many people here. With his identity, what he said just now was indeed inappropriate. Since Lu Ming was holding on tightly, he could not find a reason to attack. Lu Ming sneered and ignored them. He walked toward the mission counter. Whoosh! At this moment, the young man behind Sheng Yao caught up with Lu Ming and appeared in front of the mission counter before Lu Ming. He then looked at Lu Ming with a mocking expression and said, Kid, so you're also here to submit the mission of the Scaled Demon Plane. Haha, what a coincidence. I entered the Scaled Demon Plane some time ago, and am here to submit the mission. Having said that, he looked at Lu Ming contemptuously and continued, It's not that I want to say this, but this mission is totally suitable for a rookie from the East like you. In my opinion, you're already very lucky to be able to seal the souls of 1 or 2 first-level Martial King zombie guards. Which I of yours saw that I've only sealed 1 or 2 souls of first-layer Martial King zombie guards. Lu Ming looked at the young man in amusement. Oh, not just 1 or 2. 2 or 3. Ha ha. The young man laughed contemptuously. Who is that? Look at his attitude, Shang Chuan is going to humiliate him. That's right. This kid is quite bold. He dares to talk to Elder Sheng Yao like that. It's normal for Shang Chuan to take the opportunity to humiliate him. But I see that he's quite calm. Maybe he has something? What kind of thing is he? He's just pretending. Around them, some people saw that there was something interesting to watch and gathered around, whispering. Lu Ming also heard that the young man was called Shang Chuan. On the side, Sheng Yao and Shang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming with a cold smile. Although they could not kill Lu Ming, it was good to see Lu Ming make a fool of himself. Lu Ming looked at Shang Chuan indifferently and said slowly, Since you've said so, you must have gained a lot? So, but more than you. There's no doubt about it. Shang Chuan sneered. Oh, if that's the case, hand in the task first and let me see. Lu Ming said indifferently. All right, I'll let you see. Shang Chuan smiled proudly and waved his hand. Suddenly, a pile of soul-sealing crystals appeared on the counter. Each soul-sealing crystal was covered with a layer of faint black light. At a glance, one could tell that all of them were sealed with souls. So many, there are more than 20 of them. More than 20 of them means that more than 20 zombie guards have died in Shang Chuan's hands. How terrifying. It seems that Shang Chuan's cultivation has improved again. As soon as Shang Chuan took out the soul-sealing crystals, the crowd burst into discussions. Check them for me, Shang Chuan said proudly to an old man on the counter. On the mission counter, The old man picked up the soul-sealing crystals and carefully examined them one by one. A moment later he finished checking them all. There are a total of 21 soul-sealing crystals, all of which are sealed with the souls of the zombie guards. Among them, 13 are first-layer Martial King Realm, 5 are second-layer Martial King Realm, 2 are third-layer Martial King Realm, and 1 is fourth-layer Martial King Realm. The old man announced. What? There's even a fourth-layer Martial King Lesser Success King? Even a Lesser Success King zombie guard was killed by Shang Chuan. How terrifying. Zombie guards are hard to kill. But Shang Chuan managed to kill them with the help of the refined corpse. His cultivation should have reached the fifth-layer Martial King Realm. Chapter 535. Normally, a fourth-layer Martial King zombie guard would have 2 or 3 fourth-layer Martial King corpses protecting him at all times. It would be impossible to kill a fourth-layer Martial King zombie guard unless he was caught off guard and launched a sneak attack. However, it would not be easy to launch a sneak attack as zombie guards would spend most of their time hiding in their coffins. Also, it was the suppression of strength. He could kill the other party with his overwhelming strength. Shang Chuan's face was filled with pride. A total of 91,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Here are the spiritual crystals, please count them. The old man on the counter took out a jade box and handed it to Shang Chuan. The surrounding people were even more envious. 90,000 extreme grade spirit crystals was definitely a huge amount for a low-level king warrior. It was only a mission, but he could actually earn 90,000 extreme grade spirit crystals. How frightening. No need to count. Shang Chuan was very generous. He took the jade box and kept it in his storage ring. Immediately after, he looked at Lu Ming proudly and said loudly, "Did you see that? This is my reward. I have sealed the souls of 21 zombie guards. Actually, this is not considered a lot. I believe that I will definitely have a bigger reward next time. However, to you this is an unattainable height." Shang Chuan looked at Lu Ming with contempt. Shang Yao and Shang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming with sneers. They were very happy to see Lu Ming being humiliated in front of everyone. You have the nerve to take out such a small amount to make a fool of yourself? Get out of the way and let me do it. Lu Ming looked calm. He glanced at Shang Chuan and said indifferently. The disdain in his tone was very obvious. What did you say? I made a fool of myself? Damn it, can you take out more soul-sealing crystals? Shang Chuan's eyes were burning with anger as he shouted. The surrounding people looked at Lu Ming curiously. What made Lu Ming so confident? Could it be that Lu Ming's reward was bigger than Shang Chuan's? Take it out, quickly take it out. If you can't take it out today, I will make you swallow your words, crash. Shang Chuan was originally shouting angrily. But in the next moment, Lu Ming waved his hand and the pile of soul-sealing crystals on the counter clattered, causing Shang Chuan's shouts to abruptly stop. Shang Chuan's eyes were as big as copper bells. He stared at the pile of soul-sealing crystals on the counter, his lips trembling. Around him, the other onlookers were the same. Their eyes almost popped out of their sockets as they stared at the pile of soul-sealing crystals on the counter in disbelief. Shang Yao and Shang Wushuang had the same expression on their faces. It's fake, it's definitely fake. Lu Ming, the soul sealed inside is definitely not the soul of a corpse guard of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming, did you take the soul of a demonic beast or hunt an ordinary warrior and seal their soul to cheat a reward? How dare you? Lu Ming, you've committed a heinous crime. You should be executed. At this moment, Shang Chuan finally reacted. He pointed at Lu Ming and shouted. He directly pinned the crime of killing ordinary warriors on Lu Ming's head. Around them, the way the onlookers looked at Lu Ming changed. Some of them believed Shang Chuan's words. After all, the pile of soul-sealing crystals Lu Ming took out was too much. There were at least 100 of them. How could Lu Ming kill more than 100 zombie guards? How was that possible? Idiot! Lu Ming said indifferently. The way he looked at Shang Chuan was as if he was looking at an idiot. This made Shang Chuan's chest swell with pain. He almost vomited blood. What did you say? What did you say? Shang Chuan roared. Lu Ming was too lazy to pay attention to him. He didn't even bother to look at him. He turned to the old man on the counter and said, "Senior, please check it for me so that I won't be wronged." "All right, The old man on the counter picked up the soul-sealing jade tokens and checked them one by one. At the scene, everyone's eyes turned to look at the old man. Especially Shang Chuan, who was hoping that the old man would say that Lu Ming's soul-sealing crystals were fake. Unfortunately, he was destined to be disappointed. The old man checked the tokens one by one in a serious manner. Gradually, the old man's face was filled with astonishment. The more he checked, the greater the astonishment on his face. It took the old man half an hour to finish checking all of Lu Ming's soul-sealing crystals. Everyone stared at the old man, waiting for his answer. A total of 110 of them, all sealed with the souls of the zombie guards of the Heavenly Corpse sect. That's right, the old man said. Gasp! The crowd burst into an uproar after hearing the old man's words. All sealed with the souls of the zombie guards of the Heavenly Corpse sect. How is that possible? What is this Lu Ming's cultivation? It's unbelievable that he could kill so many zombie guards. I heard that this Lu Ming came from the east. When he entered the city, he had a conflict with Shang Jiang of the Shang clan. I heard that his cultivation is second-layer martial emperor realm. Second-layer martial emperor realm? Are you kidding me? For a second-layer martial king to be able to kill so many zombie guards and seal so many zombie guard souls, how could he kill so many zombie guards unless his luck was heaven-defying? And all the zombie guards he encountered along the way were first-layer martial king, and they were all alone, otherwise how could he kill so many zombie guards? The crowd burst into discussions in disbelief. Even Shang Chuan stared with his eyes wide open, filled with astonishment. 110 soul-sealing crystals, all sealed with the souls of the zombie guards. Even if they were all first-layer martial emperor realm cultivators, the reward would still be more than what he had received. At this moment, the old man on the counter announced again. A total of 110 crystals, all sealed with the souls of the zombie guards of the Heavenly Corpse sect. 55 of them are from the first-layer martial emperor realm, 30 from the second-layer martial emperor realm, 19 from the third-layer martial emperor realm, 10 from the fourth-layer martial emperor realm, 3 from the fifth-layer martial emperor realm, and 2 from the sixth-layer martial emperor realm. In total, the reward is 880,000 spiritual crystals. The old man's eyes were filled with astonishment. It was the first time someone had received so many rewards since the mission was announced. Silence. The place fell into a dead silence. Everyone stared at Lu Ming with their eyes and mouths wide open. 880,000 spiritual crystals? There were even 10 fourth-layer martial emperor realm crystals, 3 fifth-layer martial emperor realm crystals, and 2 sixth-layer martial emperor realm crystals. How was this possible? They thought they were dreaming. Impossible, impossible, impossible. Shang Chuan was completely stunned. His body kept trembling as he mumbled to himself. He could not believe what he was seeing. Impossible? I've been working in the mission hall for 300 years and I've never made a mistake. Are you doubting me? The old man on the counter stared at him. The old man's words awakened the crowd. Oh my God, what did I just see? 880,000 spiritual crystals. That's terrifying. 15 of the lesser martial emperor realm crystals. How did he do it? The fourth-layer martial emperor realm crystal Shang Chuan got as trash compared to it. The crowd burst into an uproar as they discussed among themselves. Chapter 536. Shang Chuan's face reddened as he felt extremely ashamed. He could not wait to dig a hole and hide himself. He had only sealed the soul of a fourth-level martial king zombie guard, but he was already so proud of himself. Compared to Lu Ming, there was a world of difference. There was no way to compare them at all. There was no way to know how many levels they were inferior. Earlier on, Lu Ming was right when he said that he was a disgrace. How is this possible? How is it possible for this kid to be able to seal a fifth-layer and sixth-layer martial emperor realm zombie guard? Shang Chuan was utterly confused. How dare you, Lu Ming? What punishment do you deserve? At that instant, Shang Yao suddenly uttered a roar, causing the entire place to tremble. The crowd immediately gathered their attention onto Shang Yao's figure. Their eyes filled with doubts. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he glanced at Shang Yao and calmly said, "What crime have I committed? What crime? You might be able to fool the others, but can you fool me? Lu Ming, with your cultivation, how could you kill 4th layer, 5th layer, and 6th layer martial emperor realm zombie guards? How is that possible? If you have the ability, tell me, how did you kill him? Sheng Yao said in a cold tone. I don't think I need to explain how I did it to you. Besides, I don't think the Detian Divine Guards are required to tell me how they completed their missions. Lu Ming calmly said. Haha, still trying to deny it. Lu Ming, with your cultivation, it's impossible for you to kill so many zombie guards. There's only one possibility, which is that these soul-sealing crystals belong to someone else, another Detian Divine Guard. You've used some despicable method to kill the other Detian Divine Guards and steal their soul-sealing crystals. How dare you say you're not guilty of such a serious crime? You deserve to die. Sheng Yao snapped. The crowd was startled as they fell into deep thoughts. They agreed with Sheng Yao's words, as this was the only possibility that could explain how Lu Ming had obtained so many soul-sealing crystals. Lu Ming, how dare you commit such a heinous crime? You deserve to die. Seizing the opportunity, Shang Chuan shouted. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes as he asked coldly, "Where's the evidence?" Evidence? There's no need for evidence. This is the truth. Damn it! Sheng Yao shouted. Ha 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 ha. Lu Ming suddenly laughed out loud and said, Sheng Yao, is this how you become an elder of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Everything is just your wild speculation. And you want to convict me of a great crime? What a joke. Based on what you've said, you can convict anyone you don't like in the future? Laughable, extremely laughable. Alright then, I'll say that you bullied the Detian Divine Guards outside the Shang clan, bullied the weak, and snatched ordinary women. Sheng Yao, how should you be punished? Lu Ming's voice reverberated throughout the arena. His imposing manner imposing. Audacious little bastard, you dare to slander me and slander me. Sheng Yao roared. Haha, what slander? That's the truth. Hurry up and kneel down and admit your guilt. Lu Ming sneered. You're courting death, little bastard. I'll cripple you now. A terrifying aura erupted from Sheng Yao's body. His eyes were fierce, as if he was about to devour someone. Sheng Yao, apart from the Shang clan, are you going to kill the other Detian Divine Guards if they don't listen to you? Does the Shang clan want to get rid of the other Detian Divine Guards and dominate the Tianxian region? Are you looking down on Martial Emperor De? Lu Ming circulated his true origin and was ready to escape. However, he was shouting and accusing Sheng Yao. Little bastard, you dare to slander me? Sheng Yao roared, but he did not make a move. Tianxian City was not like the Eastern Branch Palace. In the Eastern Branch Palace, even if he killed Lu Ming, it would be fine. However, in Tianxian City there was not only the Shang clan but also the Mu clan. The Shang clan and the Mu clan seemed to be on good terms, but they were competitors in secret. Sheng Yao had quite a number of enemies. Not to mention the Mu family, even within the Shang family, Sheng Yao had enemies. If he did something out of line and was caught by his enemies, then his days would not be easy. Therefore, if he were to take action against Lu Ming in public without any concrete evidence, he was afraid that his opponent would really have something on him and use it to attack him. For a moment, his face turned red, but he did not make a move. He was hesitant. Damn it, this little bastard. I'll find a chance to kill him. Sheng Yao roared in his heart. Lu Ming, how dare you be so rude to Elder Sheng? Kneel down and admit your mistake. At this moment, Shang Chuan jumped out and shouted, Haha! Lu Ming only responded with a sneer. Shang Chuan gritted his teeth and shouted, Lu Ming, I think Elder Shang has a point. Did you secretly kill the other Emperorian Divine Guards and steal their soul-sealing crystals? How about this, I'll challenge you now. If you can defeat me, I'll admit your strength and prove that you have the ability to obtain those soul-sealing crystals. Shang Chuan shouted. His eyes kept rolling as he thought of a vicious idea. Sheng Yao's eyes lit up. He looked at Shang Chuan with admiration. He wondered if he had lost his mind from anger or if this kid was smart. In this way, if Lu Ming still did not accept the challenge, it would mean that he had a guilty conscience. They could then use this as a reason to investigate Lu Ming. If Lu Ming accepted the challenge and lost to Shang Chuan, needless to say, the accusation would be confirmed. As for Lu Ming defeating Shang Chuan, was it possible? Lu Ming had just arrived in Tianxian City, and was only a second-layer martial king. How could he be a match for Shang Chuan in such a short time? Shang Chuan had already reached mid-fifth layer Martial King. This was a vicious move. Shang Chuan was overjoyed after seeing Shang Yao's admiring gaze. He secretly praised himself for being smart enough to come up with such a plan. If he could settle this matter today, Shang Yao would surely put him in an important position in the future. Are you really going to challenge me? Lu Ming wore a strange expression as he glanced at Shang Chuan with an indifferent smile. Nonsense, don't you have ears? Come on, do you dare to accept the challenge? If you don't, then your strength is questionable. Shang Chuan let out a hollow laugh. Oh, if that's the case, I'll accept your challenge. Lu Ming's eyes flickered coldly as he said. As soon as these words were spoken, another round of intense discussion broke out in the audience. Lu Ming accepted the challenge. He accepted Shang Chuan's challenge. How unwise. What do you mean unwise? It's impossible for him to back down now. How is he going to explain himself by taking out so many soul-sealing crystals? That's right. He can only blame himself for being too high-profile just now. He didn't know how to endure. If he had endured just now, at most he would have lost a little face. Then, he would have secretly turned in the mission later and nothing would have happened. If it were me, I would definitely have done that. That's right, I agree. He accepted the challenge? Shang Chuan's eyes flickered with joy. Lu Ming accepted his challenge. Great. Hee. Shang Yao let out a hollow laugh. Lu Ming, you won't be able to escape this time around. Shang Wushuang's eyes flickered with a vicious look. Come. Let's battle on the Divine Guard battle platform. Chapter 537. What's the hurry? I haven't received my reward yet. Lu Ming said indifferently and looked at the old man on the counter. The old man took out a storage ring and handed it to Lu Ming. There are 880,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals here. You can count them. There's no need to count them. Lu Ming smiled. The storage ring flashed and all the supreme-grade spiritual crystals were transferred to Lu Ming's storage ring. Lu Ming then returned the storage ring to the old man. Now that you've received your reward, won't you have to spit it out later? Shang Chuan sneered. Is that so? Don't cry later. Lu Ming curled his lips. Lu Ming then stepped forward and walked towards the Divine Guard battle platform. There was a Divine Guard battle platform in all the branches of the Emperor Sky Divine Palace. Let's go and take a look. The people in the mission hall swarmed towards the Divine Guard battle platform. There were about 500 to 600 people. Some of them had even used voice transmission talismans to ask their friends and family to go to the Divine Guard battle platform. 500 to 600 people walking on the street naturally caused a commotion. Many people were curious and asked around. After hearing the whole story, they followed the crowd to the Divine Guard battle platform. The number of people increased rapidly and soon there were a few thousand people. Lu Ming walked to the front of the crowd. When he arrived at the Divine Guard battle platform, he was stunned because the Divine Guard battle platform was already surrounded by people. It seemed like some people had received the news and rushed to the Divine Guard battle platform. There are so many young experts from the Shang family here. Isn't that so? It's no wonder. Not many people dare to offend the Shang family. It's normal for the geniuses of the Shang family to come and take a look. I hope that Lu Ming can withstand a few more moves and not die so quickly. Otherwise, I would have come all the way here for nothing. That's right. Whispers could be heard all around. The smile on Lu Ming's face deepened. Whoosh! Arriving at the edge of the battle stage, Shang Chuan leaped over 100 meters with a single step and leaped onto the stage. He looked down at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, come up quickly. Lu Ming smiled faintly and walked up the stairs of the Divine Guard battle platform step by step. Arriving at the Divine Guard battle platform, Huang Xiaolong and Shang Chuan stood opposite each other. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, I didn't think that you would actually dare to accept my challenge. I really don't know where you got your guts from. 3 moves, I will defeat you in 3 moves. Shang Chuan smiled disdainfully. 3 moves? Shang Chuan, you have the nerve to say that. If it were me, I would have defeated him in 2 moves. No, 1 move is enough. 1 move is enough to beat him into a pig's head. Believe it or not, Shang Chuan, it would be too embarrassing if you really defeated him in 3 moves. Shangchuan, this brat is too arrogant. I heard that he has repeatedly challenged the authority of the Shang family. Today, you must cripple him and let him know the consequences of offending the Shang family. That's right, cripple him. At the edge of the battle stage, some of the Shang family's young geniuses shouted. Their voices were filled with indifference and arrogance, as if Lu Ming was a pitiful bug that could be crushed at will. The smile on Shangchuan's face deepened. He looked at Lu Ming with contempt and said, Lu Ming, did you hear that? This is the consequence of offending the Shang family. Consequence? Just relying on your Shang family's glib tongue? Lu Ming smiled faintly. You'll be crying later. Shangchuan's eyes turned cold. How about this? A direct battle is too boring. Let's make a bet. What do you think? Lu Ming suddenly said. He still remembered that he had made a fortune from the previous battle with Xue Chao. Naturally, he wouldn't let go of this opportunity. Bet? What do you want to bet? Shangchuan's eyes lit up. Let's bet 20 profound crystals. If I lose, I'll give you 20 earth profound crystals. If you lose, you'll give me 20 wind profound crystals. What do you think? Lu Ming smiled. Earth element profound crystal? You have them? Shangchuan's eyes lit up. He had comprehended the earth concept. Lu Ming smiled. With a wave of his hand, 20 earth profound crystals appeared in the air, emitting a strong earth concept. These earth profound crystals were obtained from the Scaled Demon tribe in the Scaled Demon plane with Han Man and the others. Lu Ming also had a mid-grade earth profound crystal. Later, when Han Man and the others were killed by Lu Ming, those profound crystals naturally fell into Lu Ming's pocket. They're really earth profound crystals. Shangchuan's eyes emitted a blazing light. Where's your wind profound crystal? Take it out. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, are you afraid that I'll go back on my word? Shangchuan snorted coldly. I'm afraid that you'll go back on your word. Lu Ming said. You? Shangchuan gritted his teeth. But where could he find so many wind profound crystals? Shangchuan, I have a few wind profound crystals. I'll lend them to you first. I have a few too. The young men of the sacred family standing next to him spoke up, taking out several Upanishad crystals of wind class. Shangchuan was overjoyed. He took them one by one and said loudly, brothers, I'll borrow these profound crystals first. I'll return them to you later. From his tone it was as if he could win. And hurry up and cripple that kid. I still need to go back and cultivate. The other Shang family youths said. Don't worry, it'll be quick. Shangchuan took the profound crystals and returned to the opposite side of Lu Ming, saying, 20 profound crystals. Not one less. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Right now, what he desired the most was wind profound crystals. However, 20 profound crystals are a bit too little. Lu Ming looked at the Shang family youths and his eyes lit up as if he had thought of something. Boom! At this moment, Shangchuan put away the wind profound crystals, and a powerful aura erupted from his body. The aura of a mid-5th level martial king. Lu Ming lose. Shangchuan shouted. Boom! He punched out and a huge mountain appeared in the sky. It was a few 100 feet tall and pressed down on Lu Ming. The aura was extremely majestic. Compared to this huge mountain, Lu Ming's body seemed extremely small. Is this first-level lesser success earth concept? So powerful. Many low-level kings and even martial artists below the king realm were amazed. Break. Lu Ming let out a long howl. A ray of spear gleam shot up into the sky and collided with the mountain. Boom! The spear light and the mountain collided. After a while there was a loud explosion. The mountain exploded and the spear light disappeared. Bang! Bang! Shangchuan and Lu Ming both took 7 or 8 steps back. The difference was that there was a strange smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. On the other hand, Shangchuan's expression changed drastically. Damn it! Shangchuan roared. He was humiliated that he was forced back by Lu Ming. It's a tie. It's a tie. Lu Ming can withstand Shangchuan's attack. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be so powerful. No wonder he dares to fight with Shangchuan. Chapter 538. Sheng Yao and Sheng Wushuang were also dumbfounded. This little bastard is too terrifying. How long has it been? He's already grown to this level. Damn it, damn it. Sheng Yao roared in his heart. Sheng Wushuang's eyes almost popped out as a look of horror flashed across his eyes. Sheng Chuan didn't use his full strength just now. Lu Ming can't possibly be his opponent. Sheng Yao took a deep breath and said coldly. Many people nodded when they heard this. Sheng Chuan was probably just testing the waters earlier. As for Lu Ming, he had most likely exerted his full strength. Lu Ming, I only used 50% of my strength just now. Now take this. Thousand Mountain Heavenly Fist. Sheng Chuan roared as his bloodline erupted. There was no doubt that it was the 6th level king bloodline. At the same time, he continuously punched out with both fists. Boom! Boom! Heaven and earth trembled as the vast fist shadows turned into tall mountains. The mountain peaks were stacked upon one another, as if there really were 1,000 of them. Suppress him! Sheng Chuan roared as the mountains in the sky crashed down on Lu Ming. It's a pity that I haven't cultivated it to perfection. How much strength should I use? 1 floor or half a floor? Lu Ming was a little conflicted. He had a plan in mind. He wanted to cast a long line to catch a big fish. He was afraid that he would scare the big fish away if he showed too much strength. Forget it, I'll use 10% of my strength first. Buzz! Lu Ming held the long spear and blasted it out. Ah, break for me, break for me! Lu Ming deliberately shouted at the top of his lungs. He had only used 10% of his strength, but he pretended that he had used 12% of his strength. The veins on his face bulged as he roared with all his strength. Boom! Lu Ming destroyed a mountain peak that came crashing down. However, the second mountain peak came crashing down. Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear and the mountain peak continued to collapse. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming. Let's see how many mountains you can destroy. Sheng Chuan laughed and punched out continuously. The mountains in the sky continued to press down. Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand. The spear light soared into the sky and became 1,000 meters long, constantly destroying the mountains. Boom! Boom! Between heaven and earth, rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Fortunately, the Divine Guard battle platform was wide enough for them to fight. Soon dozens of moves had passed. Lu Ming had smashed dozens of mountains in succession, and then rushed towards the holy river. Bang! Bang! Every time Lu Ming stepped on the fighting ring, there would be a roaring sound. Sizzle lightning flashed in Lu Ming's hand as a powerful force of lightning burst out. Lesser Completion King. Lu Ming, that little bastard, has actually reached the Lesser Completion King realm. His battle strength is so strong that he can actually fight against Sheng Chuan. He can't be left alive. This little bastard can't be left alive. Sheng Yao roared in his heart. He clearly sensed that Lu Ming's cultivation was at the early 4th layer Martial Emperor realm. This shocked him greatly. Thunderbolt. In the fighting ring, Lu Ming roared. With a thrust of his spear, the sky was filled with lightning, and the mountains were destroyed one after another. This move was not a martial technique at all. It was Lu Ming's roar. If he used a martial technique like the 3 skills of the Dragon God, he was afraid that Sheng Chuan would be killed instantly. Therefore, he could only use a random move and call out a loud name. Damn it, it's not easy to pretend to be weak. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. However, Sheng Chuan was so shocked that he gasped. He shouted and covered his body with black stones to block the lightning attack. Sizzle, as the lightning swept over. The stones continued to collapse. How could this be? Sheng Chuan is actually at a disadvantage? Nest, that kid is actually so strong. Is Sheng Chuan going to lose? There was another round of intense discussion all around. Damn it, damn it. Sheng Chuan roared again and again, trying his best to fight against Lu Ming. However, Sheng Chuan was already at a disadvantage, and he was slowly being suppressed by Lu Ming. The two of them exchanged more than 10 moves. Sheng Chuan was hit by Lu Ming's spear. He screamed and his body flew far away. He fell heavily on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Whoosh! Lu Ming rushed up and stepped on Sheng Chuan's face, pressing him firmly on the fighting ring. Ah! Ah! Sheng Chuan struggled madly and roared, trying to break free. However, with Lu Ming stepping on his face, he couldn't break free at all. He was about to go crazy. It's over. Shang Chuan knew that he was finished. His face was stepped on by Lu Ming in public. From now on, he wouldn't be able to raise his head in the Shang family. His future was also ruined. Lu Ming, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. Shang Chuan roared madly. Slap. Lu Ming's response was a slap. The slap directly on Shang Chuan's face stopped Shang Chuan's scream abruptly. He was dumbfounded. How dare you, little bastard? How dare you slap the face of the Shang family's hero? You're courting death. Move your stinky foot away now. I want you to die without a burial place. The surrounding Shang family's youths roared. As for Shang Yao, he was so angry that his eyes were burning. What are you shouting for? A bunch of bastards. This is the Divine Guard battle ring. It's good that I didn't kill him. What's wrong with stepping on his foot? Lu Ming scanned the surroundings and hollered loudly, looking arrogant and haughty. This made the surrounding Shang family's youth so angry that they almost vomited blood. Don't stop me. I'm going to kill him. A Shang family's youth roared. Lu Ming ignored them and looked at Shang Chuan again. Now you've lost. Hand over the 20 wind attribute esoteric crystals. Little bastard, you still want esoteric crystals? Dream on. Shang Chuan roared. Are you trying to cheat? Hand it over quickly. Lu Ming shouted. I'm not going to hand it over. What can you do about it? You still want esoteric crystals? Dream on. Shang Chuan laughed. Lu Ming pointed at Shang Chuan and gritted his teeth. Ha ha ha. Seeing Lu Ming's expression, Shang Chuan laughed heartily. But in the next moment he couldn't laugh anymore. Lu Ming bent down slowly and took off the storage ring on Shang Chuan's finger. Ew. What are you doing? Give me back my storage ring. Shang Chuan screamed. Give it back to you? I'm just using my winnings as a bet. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Give it back to me. 20 esoteric crystals. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Shang Chuan yelled. This storage ring was his entire fortune. It's too late now. Lu Ming's finger glowed as he kept Shang Chuan's storage ring. You cheated. You cheated. Shang Chuan shouted. I cheated? Weren't you the one who cheated first? All right, trash. Get down. Lu Ming got up and gave a kick. Shang Chuan screamed miserably. Like a broken sack, he was sent flying by Lu Ming's kick. He slid across a distance of 7 to 8 miles and fell off the Divine Guard battle platform. His screams resounded throughout the place. Little bastard, how dare you? You're courting death. Hand over your storage ring and kneel down to admit your mistake. I'll spare your life. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.